right, so tell me, like if I want to do a movie or film or something like that, and I have an idea, the thoughts in my mind,
Hmm.
how do I get it to this point? Like what's an easy way? And if you have like a low budget,
Okay, the first you want to decide if you're going to make a feature film or a short, and then you have to write it out. I mean, the writing is probably the hardest thing to do because you have to conceive of the story, and then no matter what movie you're watching, there's a strict adherence to what's called a paradigm on a movie, uh, where you have technically three acts if you're doing a 2 hour movie, where the first quarter of the movie is the first act, the second act is half the movie, and then the last quarter is uh, your resolution of the movie. So let's say you're using something like a James Bond movie, up to the point, the action sequence up to the point where Bond meets Q and gets his mission. That's that first act. Then, when Bond is doing most of his confrontation throughout the movie and the evil plot is being revealed, that takes you to the end of the second act. The third act is the Blofeld or someone saying, Bond, the bomb is ticking and New York will be destroyed, or London, James Bond, will be destroyed in 30 minutes. And then Bond has to race to the resolution and then and destroy the villain and his lair or what have you. Or in the case of Indiana Jones, he finds out that he has to find the Ark of the Covenant at the end of the first act. But these things have to be very strictly adhered to. If you run the first act a little too long, people are going to lose interest in it. And if you don't explain enough of the story within that first act, then the story just seems disjointed. And if anything is out of whack, like one of these acts goes on too long, too short, you can really feel the unbalanced part of the story. So writing would be the first thing, and then choosing someone to direct it, or if you wanted to direct it yourself, then you'd have to choose your crew. Uh, Generally, I didn't seek out to be a director. I was mainly trying to be just the writer, and the hammy side of me wanted to act in some capacity in the movie because I love acting. But I ended up being the director of the movie too, because it's kind of hard to get another person to look at what you did and adhere to what you wrote. Like a lot of times, a director will take a script, basically throw it away, and turn it into a Transformer movie or something along the line. And then it just totally changes from the original intent to something else that. So you want to be able to direct it yourself if you want complete control over it. But when I say you want control, you also have to listen to other people, like the producers, how the actors interpret things, and try to assemble that in a logical way too. And then the tough parts, just then you got to start filming it. But the tough part's the preparation.
now what about the actual screenplay? 'Cause I remember someone offered me to write a movie. First he said do the outline, then he said, "Oh, try a screenplay." First I was like, "What the heck's a screenplay?" I didn't
Okay,
know.
it's
So
it,
so
yeah.
so doing that part, because you have different characters
Uh-huh.
and to make the dialogue for everybody else. So do you consult other people? Do you have to put yourself in their position?
You always have to see things from the character's point of view. The characters have to be different enough to have a separate point of view. If you find two characters are too similar, then you've answered your question. Then you need one character. Sometimes you can get away with having two characters instead of one, like it's like in a Bond movie, Mr. Wint and Mr. Kidd. They're two halves of the same villain. But generally, you want to have a character fleshed out enough where they can have an arc, where you can see a change in them, um, in major characters anyway. And if it's a minor character who doesn't really have an arc, then they have to actually push the arc of the characters who do need it. They have to have a reason for being there. Otherwise, you don't need the characters. And the same thing goes with scenes. You might start a movie. If you start a movie thinking, okay, I want to see this type of action scene where it's a car chase, then I want to see like a boat jump over a ramp or whatever, then you have to come up with some bizarre reason to do it, you're making the wrong movie. You have to come up with a plot and character and adhere to that religiously, and then the sequences will speak to you themselves. It'll dictate what actions the characters take, what modes they will take to take those actions, and most importantly, you have to know how the script is going to end before you even set your pen to the paper.